The clash never required a stage in Manhattan. Barack Obama and Donald Trump had already written that chapter years earlier through a series of public statements and responses. In April 2011, the White House released President Obama's long-form birth certificate from Hawaii, bringing official documentation into a controversy that had dominated the national conversation.
Obama should have done it. Obama was worse. Obama gave them the absolute right, title, and interest, gave everything to Iran. You remember that? When Bibi Netanyahu came over and begged him not to do it.
Now listen up. I'm serious. Listen up. You've got an older gentleman who is supporting his candidate. He's not doing nothing. You don't have to worry about him. You should. This is what I mean about folks not being focused.
And we found absolute, this isn't like evidence this is like proof, irrefutable proof that Obama was seditious, that Obama was trying to lead a coup.
Who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength. And I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining.
The worst president maybe in the history of our country. I think he's been a disaster. He's been weak. He's been ineffective. And I believe I know far more about foreign policy than he knows.
Born of this nation's true revolutionary spirit. A story that says we the people means what it says. That all of us are included. That we are not subjects, we are citizens. Defined not by race or religion or gender or sexual orientation, but by our commitment to a common creed.
You know, that's a little, and a former governor, and we're winning by a lot. But they come down to North Carolina, not thinking about North Carolina, and every single time they come back, they say, Mr. Trump, that's where I want to spend the rest of my life. True story. 5 guys.
And fourth of all, don't boo. Boo. Don't boo. Boo. Come on.
The release came after Trump had spent weeks publicly demanding proof and raising questions about whether the president had actually been born in the United States. Just 3 days later, Trump was seated in the audience at the White House Correspondents' Dinner as Obama addressed the issue head-on. Without raising his voice or showing anger, Obama simply acknowledged that the birth certificate had been released before turning the controversy into a broader discussion about judgment and political responsibility. The audience laughed, but the significance of the moment went far beyond comedy. The document behind Obama's remarks was an official government record that directly answered a claim which had captured nationwide attention. As the years passed, that distinction became even more meaningful. Trump would later win the presidency after promising to confront Washington's political establishment and restore accountability in government. Yet official White House records identified his daughter, Ivanka Trump, as an advisor to the president and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, as a senior advisor. Both participated in high-level policy discussions while also being immediate members of the president's family. Their appointments were publicly documented, and the legal and ethical questions surrounding those roles were openly debated. The central issue, however, was straightforward. Trump had built much of his political appeal by criticizing entrenched privilege within government, only to place close relatives in some of the administration's most influential positions. Obama never needed dramatic recordings or fictional stories to point out that contradiction. The official government archives already documented those appointments. For many viewers over the age of 65 in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom, the pattern carried historical significance. They had witnessed previous administrations where personal loyalty sometimes overshadowed independent judgment. Family members can certainly provide trust and support, but effective government also depends on advisors who are willing to challenge a president without fearing that disagreement will be viewed as disloyalty. That reality raised questions Trump's familiar criticisms could not easily answer. If loyalty within a family represented sound judgment, Why had political insiders been portrayed as the nation's greatest problem? If experience and qualifications were essential, why were close relatives given exceptional influence, while career public servants were so often described as obstacles? And if accountability was supposed to apply equally to everyone, why did being related to the president appear to offer a unique route to power? No manufactured reaction from an audience was necessary because the contrast spoke for itself. Obama's most effective response had actually come years before those family appointments, during the 2011 Correspondents' Dinner. He demonstrated that a calm, measured presentation could redirect attention toward documented evidence instead of political rhetoric. Trump had framed the birth certificate controversy as a test of Obama's legitimacy. Once the official document was released, however, the focus shifted to the person who had promoted the accusation. The question became whether clear evidence would end the claim or whether the political usefulness of the allegation would outweigh the facts. In 2016, Trump ultimately acknowledged that Barack Obama had indeed been born in the United States. That admission arrived only after years of public skepticism, televised interviews, headlines, and repeated demands for proof. By then, the controversy had already played a major role in establishing Trump's national political identity as someone willing to challenge the existing political order.